Hello, from the Maldives. I'm Aamaal Ali. I have uh, been a teacher, a principal, and permanent secretary at the Minister of Education, and also a Minister for Gender, Women, and Family. And more recently, I'm self-employed and do consultancy work with a private education college and school called Mians International. Right, on the topic women's empowerment, from my perception and some experiences that I have had, I could explore and expand. From within my family, when I look at my son, for example, my nuclear family, I've had him for the past 13 years, absentee father. Then I look at my sisters or myself. I was raised between families, great grandparents largely featuring, again, due to divorce. Maldives has a very high divorce rate, and as a result, I believe many of the children grow up between extended families, step families, extended families, grandparents, etc. So even if it is my father, my grandfather, my stepfather, my step-grandfather, my great-grandfather, they each married and had families to more than one wife. And I married twice, and both men have married 4 or 5 women. So the average, according to a study done in the 1990s, was that every female woman between the ages of 18 to 34 would have married 4 times. So due to this high divorce rate, what we find is the family unit gets broken up, and psychologically the woman goes through metamorphosis, let's call it that, ups and downs, challenges, and as a result, depending on where she is, at what level, for example, as a young woman starting out to build a career, she would go to school and do academically very well, often in comparison, let's say, to the boys. But by the time she's out of her 10th standard and then joins 11th and 12th, then she may not exceed as well, because there is in some people's mind that boys will do better academically through university and higher education than girls. And from there itself, the contemplation for the girl is that she would go towards a career which the husband would encourage her to go forward with, because many young people, once they get married, or even before they get married, as soon as they find a boyfriend, they have a tendency of leaving or being ready to become a mother. So in the context of the Maldives, although we have had queens, there have been few in the history, and it has been a matriarchal society very much in the olden days, where the men folk, being fishermen and traders, would be out at sea or gone for months, sometimes years, and the family therefore was looked after by the mother, usually in the absence of a father. Now, as we moved into a more modern sort of lifestyle in the 1950s and 60s, with the kingdom being changed into a republic, there came like a revolution where women were encouraged to come out into the public foray and become literary cultural people who were included in the matters of the government at through the president's support and concern. That was during Muhammad Amin's time, the first president, and women were brought out of homes to participate in even sports. And there was girls' education formally started in the 1944, around that time. So giving an advantage or giving the opportunity for the woman to come out and be a public figure was encouraged from then onwards. So during the 1960s, this was strengthened, 70s, 80s, 90s, which continued. So my mother's time, or myself, the generation and the generation that came afterwards, we had a very positive outlook to life and influences, with opportunities for education equally as that of boys, which continue to do even today. However, where the role of the woman lies is still very much in the perception of the men at home. So the role of mother, the role of caregiver, the role of looking after the family unit, the responsibilities of picking up from where the man leaves off, all this is squarely on the shoulders of the woman. So to become empowered, to have access to political space and to have access to the political dialogue has been an increasing fight, an increasing challenge. The numbers represented at councillor levels, for example, out of almost 200 councillors, I think there are just the 2. As parliamentarians, out of 80 something parliamentarians, there are just the 4. And as ministers, out of 20, though, there is a healthy 7 today. However, even the tensions between educated young women and educated young men, with the expectations of having equal chances to jobs outside of homes, has been continuously fraught with different perceptions, particularly in a service industry, which today we have tourism, for example. Most parents will not let girls, young women, go out and work on the other islands, being thought of as not a good way to earn a living. So these kinds of social norms and expectations therefore hinder what job opportunities are available out there. And when young women become active and strong-willed, and they show that they are able, and they are able, because many young women and many older women too have had their fair share of public responsibilities. However, it's continuously been fraught with difficulties, because somehow it's a more male-oriented society, and by group, the male dominance is felt when a woman works outside of the home. In the sense, for example, when I was principal in a girls' school, it was very encouraging and supportive. But the minute I became permanent secretary, I found some of the male colleagues snub my authority. Some of the male colleagues, they expect me to go to their offices, and rather than them finding themselves coming into my office. And there is always a reasonable kinds of pressure levied on me, I believe now upon reflection, because I was a woman. So whilst there is stronger awareness of the need for equality, and that we should be sharing decision-making levels and access to budget and access to space, these kinds of questions have been fraught with difficulty and challenges, and women continue to push and continue to raise their voices. However, the responsibilities and the challenges, I believe, will continue for as long as men do not understand and begin to value their role as men, to take full responsibility over family and what that responsibility may mean, and also to respectfully accept that women can be their equal and that they have what it takes intellectually to be able to make decisions for themselves, for their family, for the betterment of the community and the nation. Thank you.